Hey tribe, so many times you've seen things like this in the news. New Year's Eve 2017, in Bangalore, women were molested while so many people just stood by and watched. In Delhi, a girl was stabbed 35 times while people just stood around her and watched. In Patna, a girl was raped in her balcony while her neighbors stood over there and watched. And worst of it all, in Jaipur, a man sat on the highway crying while his child and his wife bled to death as hundreds of motorists just drove by and did nothing at all. This is something that takes place not only in India, it's a worldwide phenomenon, and there have been so many incidents similar to this. So what is it that makes people not react? What is it that makes them just stand by and watch? And God forbid, what should you do if you ever find yourself in a situation like this where you need help from a bunch of strangers? All this and much more is what we're going to talk about on WAC today. Before I get into it, I would love to hear stories from the tribe. Go on in the comment section, tell me your hero story where you were actually the person that saved someone or rescued someone and you were not that person that was just standing around and watching. On a more personal note, I've actually had this happen to me twice in my life, where once I rescued a person from drowning while everyone else just stood around and watched, me and a friend actually. And the second incident was when I was driving on the highway and I saw a man just lying still right there in the middle of the highway in Bombay. People just zooming past him, like literally swerving so that they could avoid him. I parked my car to the side. I ran across the highway. I picked him up, bleeding away, put him in my car. Of course, the first thought that came to my mind was people are going to think that I hit him. I said, you know what, chuck it. Once I get there, I'll try and explain that it wasn't me. I got to the hospital and they really were very understanding. I managed to pull his phone out, call his family. They came in. Everything was fine. I didn't get into trouble. And those are some of the stigmas that we really need to take away from my mind. But enough of my story. I would love to hear from each and every one of you in the comment section below if you have something to share with everyone. Psychologists have actually found a name for this phenomenon. It's called as the bystander effect. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you need help and you're surrounded by a huge number of people and none of the individuals react and offer any help in spite of other people being around, it is called as the bystander effect. Studies and research have also found that the probability of someone helping is also related to the number of bystanders. The higher the number of bystanders, the lesser the probability of someone reacting. And the lesser the number of bystanders, the higher the probability of somebody reacting to the situation, and the reaction time is also much less. So what is it that makes people react like this? It's called as diffusion of responsibility. And at a time when you need to react when you're in the presence of other people, we don't feel responsible enough to intervene or help. Now, could it just be that you're standing around and you're assuming that there's a lack of knowledge on how to deal with this situation? Somebody's fainted and you're thinking that, oh, I don't have any medical knowledge. And maybe someone in this group has some kind of knowledge and they can intervene and the experts can come and take over. Or you're standing in a large crowd and you're assuming somebody must have called for the ambulance, of course, right? Why would they not have? That is called as diffusion of responsibility. While if it was a smaller group, then the chances of reaction are definitely going to be much faster. After all, there's only 2 or 3 people standing around. You're able to converse with each other. You also then make eye contact and you start feeling responsible because all of you are collectively standing there looking at something and you can't fade away in a crowd. In fact, some countries around the world have even passed laws so that citizens can step up and be more responsible in situations like this. In Brazil, Quebec and Germany, you could find yourself going to jail if you don't call the police or an ambulance, as long as it's a situation where you're not putting yourself in danger. Another scary example of something like this is called as de-individuation. In a situation like this, a person feels that they can engage or get away with antisocial behavior because they can conceal themselves in a crowd. It's easy to just fade away in a crowd. You're less inhibited, and that feeling of guilt is also a little less because, hey, everyone else is doing it along with you. The smaller the group, the lesser the chances of de-individuation because you know that you're around people that will be held more accountable. A glaring example of something like this is what happened to Gurinder Kaur. How easy it was for people to just get onto the internet to troll her and say whatever it is that they want. One person started it, and slowly there was a chain of people just reacting, judging, and knowing that their identity is concealed because after all, this is Twitter and no one really knows who you are. But on a more positive note, studies also found that what happens if one person, just one person stands up and comes forward and helps, automatically then you go from the bystander effect to the helper effect. Automatically, suddenly, people get that josh and you will find more people coming forward to help as long as there was just one person that started that chain reaction. So that brings me to what do you do if you find yourself, God forbid, in a situation where you need help? Now, if you're in a situation where you need help and you're surrounded by your friends, then it's very simple. Identify that one person in the group and all you need to say is, Akash, I need your help. Akash, listen to me, come forward and help me. But sometimes, and the chances are more, that you will find yourself in a situation where you're surrounded by strangers. Then what do you do? Try and identify one person in that circle. Sir, आप जिसने blue shirt पहना है, आपने जिसने blue shirt पहना है, please help me. As long as you get one person to help you, studies have found automatically other people will follow. That josh will take place and other people will also come forward to offer their help to you. And it doesn't always have to be like a morbid and extreme situation where you need help. I see this all the time when I'm hosting events on stage. Once I identify that one person and I convince that one person to come and join me on stage for an activity that I am engaging in, slowly I then find that lots of other people will follow. So if you want to extend an example like this where you're looking for volunteers or you're looking for people in college or school to come and help you with a particular assignment which is not going to give people like extra grades or points for it, this is a great way to get people to come in and join you. I saw a TEDx talk by this gentleman called as Ken Brown, and in that he says that if you take the bystander effect and everything that you know about it now and this one simple quote, never doubt what a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can do to change the world, then so much can happen. If a small group starts something and like the bystander effect, other people will follow, then it's not about that small group trying to do something, but it's about that small group that like the bystander effect becomes a catalyst to change. Other people will then follow in their footsteps. The reality is that Gandhi ji, Martin Luther King and others, they didn't do it alone. They had other people. They had a tribe. In more recent times, we've seen so many revolutions that have started off as just a Twitter post or some kind of comment that has been made. And then those gain so much momentum. One person leads and other people will follow. That's it from me on WAC today, and I hope that you have really liked this video. Like the bystander effect, why don't you also share it with all your friends? This is the kind of vibe that we need to spread as a tribe, that kind of positivity that we need to let out there into the universe. I would love to hear what each and every one of you has to say. Till then, like this video, share this video. Yes, of course, leave your comments down below. Don't forget, we've got all our social media handles as well. There's Freesia B on Facebook, there's Freesia just on Twitter and Instagram, and Freesia's Tribe as well on Instagram, which is just for each and every one of you. And yeah, of course, my PO Box number too. I'll catch you guys again very soon. Till then, subscribe and help increase the tribe. Ciao.